First Contact Protocol. The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, simultaneously broadcasting across every communication channel on Earth. The Galactic Federation had been watching, and they were finally ready to talk. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the United Nations Emergency Assembly, her dress uniform pristine as she addressed the gathered representatives. Just 3 months ago, she had been negotiating a peaceful resolution to rising tensions in the South China Sea. Now she found herself humanity's chosen spokesperson to the stars. The Federation's initial transmission contained more than just a greeting, she explained, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. They'd been monitoring our global communications, studying how we handle conflict. They seem impressed, particularly by our ability to step back from the brink of war. The assembly hall buzzed with murmurs. On the massive display behind her, the Federation's first visual message played again, a harmonious gathering of species so diverse they defied imagination. Their spokesperson, a being of flowing crystalline structures who called themselves Ambassador X427, had specifically cited Earth's recent peaceful resolution of the maritime crisis as evidence of their diplomatic maturity. What the assembly didn't know was what Admiral Chen had learned in private communications with X427. The Federation classified civilizations by their conflict resolution patterns, and they had already categorized humanity as a Type P species, peaceful to the point of passive. They've invited Earth to send representatives to their Galactic Council, Chen continued. But more importantly, they're offering to help us overcome our technological limitations. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. They believe our social development has outpaced our technical capabilities. In the following weeks, as humanity prepared for its first official delegation to the stars, Admiral Chen couldn't shake a peculiar feeling. The Federation's messages were consistently patronizing beneath their diplomatic veneer. They spoke of humanity like one might speak of a precocious child, full of potential, but ultimately harmless. During their final preparation session, her deputy, Commander James Rodriguez, voiced what she had been thinking. "They think we're peaceful because we're weak," he said, reviewing the latest transmission. "They don't understand that maintaining peace is often harder than waging war." Chen nodded, remembering the countless sleepless nights during the maritime crisis, the delicate balance of strength and restraint that had prevented a catastrophic conflict. "Perhaps," she replied, "it's better they don't understand. At least for now." As Earth's first diplomatic vessel prepared to depart, a retrofitted station that the Federation had dismissively called quaint, Chen received one final message from Ambassador X427. It was meant to be reassuring. "Your species' fear of conflict is admirable. The Federation will ensure you never need to face it." Chen shared a knowing look with Rodriguez as they boarded. They didn't fear conflict. They respected it. And that respect had taught humanity more about strength than the Federation could imagine. The ship lifted off, carrying humanity's representatives to their first Galactic Council meeting. Behind them, Earth's nations continued their careful dance of cooperation and competition, maintaining the peace not through weakness, but through the daily choice to be better than their worst instincts. Little did the Federation know, they were about to learn the difference between fearing war and choosing peace. The assessment. The Galactic Council's assessment chamber was a vast amphitheater of impossible geometries, where representatives of 1,000 civilizations gathered to evaluate newest species seeking Federation membership. Admiral Chen felt the weight of every alien gaze as she stood before them, though her posture remained perfect. "Remarkable," declared Senior Assessor Vectora, their bioluminescent tentacles rippling with what the translation matrix identified as academic interest. "Your species has maintained global peace for nearly 15 cycles, despite having minimal orbital defenses and virtually no quantum shielding technology." Chen kept her expression neutral, even as she noticed Commander Rodriguez shifting uncomfortably beside her. The Federation's dismissive attitude toward human technology had grown more apparent with each passing day. They seem to view Earth's united response to first contact not as an achievement of coordination and diplomacy, but as evidence of their hypothesis about human docility. "We find strength in cooperation," Chen responded carefully. The universal translator rendered her words into the Federation's standard communication format, though she wondered if it could convey the layers of meaning behind them. Vectora's assessment team had spent 3 months studying Earth's history, focusing particularly on the past century. They had been fascinated by humanity's development of international laws, peacekeeping organizations, and conflict resolution protocols. However, they had completely overlooked the underlying complexity of maintaining these systems. "Your species has not engaged in global warfare since your atomic age," Vectora continued, displaying a holographic timeline of Earth's history. "Most developing civilizations experience at least 3 extinction-level conflicts before reaching this stage of development. Your fear of such escalation is most efficient." Chen felt a familiar twist in her stomach. The Federation's researchers had interpreted humanity's hard-won wisdom as simple fear. They saw the complex web of deterrence, diplomacy, and mutual understanding that maintained Earth's peace as merely an elaborate avoidance mechanism. The assessment chamber erupted in a cacophony of approving sounds as Vectora presented their final analysis. "Based on our comprehensive evaluation, we recommend classifying humanity as a Category 3 protected species. They shall be granted limited trading rights within designated sectors, with full Federation protection against any aggressive actions." Protected species. The words rang in Chen's ears as she maintained her diplomatic smile. The classification would essentially make Earth a Federation protectorate, with restrictions on military development and space exploration, all in the name of protecting a species they deemed too peaceful to defend itself. Later, in their assigned quarters aboard the Council station, Rodriguez could barely contain his frustration. "They're putting us in a gilded cage," he said, pacing the room. "They think they're being benevolent, but they're leaving us vulnerable." Chen stared out at the distant stars, thinking about the message she would have to send back to Earth. "They've made the classic mistake of assuming that those who choose peace are incapable of war." She turned to face her deputy. "History suggests that's a rather dangerous assumption." The Federation's assessment was being celebrated across Council space as a perfect example of their enlightened civilization's ability to nurture developing species. News of Earth's classification spread quickly, catching the attention of various factions within the Federation. Among them was the Hegemony of Compatible Interests, a consortium of resource extraction-focused species. Their representatives watched the assessment recordings with growing interest, particularly the parts about Earth's minimal orbital defenses and peaceful nature. "A Category 3 protected species," mused Delegate Zix9 of the Hegemony, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns that indicated opportunity. "With valuable heavy metals in their system and no significant defensive capabilities." How convenient. What the Hegemony and the Federation failed to understand was that Earth's peace wasn't maintained by fear or weakness, but by choice. And choices, by their very nature, can be reconsidered when circumstances change. As Admiral Chen prepared Earth's delegation for their return journey, she couldn't shake the feeling that the Federation's misconceptions would soon be tested. She just hoped they were prepared for the results of that test. Breaking point. The Hegemony's resource extraction fleet arrived in Earth's solar system exactly 6 months after humanity's classification as a protected species. Their massive ships, angular and predatory, dropped out of quantum space just beyond Mars' orbit, a clear violation of Federation protection protocols. Admiral Chen was awakened at 300 hours by the emergency alert. As she rushed to the United Earth Defense Command Center beneath the Himalayas, she already knew what she would find. The Hegemony had been suspiciously interested in Earth's mineral surveys during the Federation assessment. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Commander Rodriguez, his uniform hastily donned. "Standard Hegemony resource claim procedures. They're saying our protected species status means we require their supervision to properly manage our system's resources." The main display showed 27 hegemony vessels, each larger than anything humanity had ever constructed in space. Their demand was simple. Earth would sign over mining rights to 60% of the solar system's resources, including 30% of Earth's own heavy metals, in exchange for what they called developmental guidance. The Federation's response? Chen asked, though she already suspected the answer. Still being debated in emergency session, Rodriguez replied grimly. The hegemony is arguing that their action is a legal interpretation of protected species protocols. The Council could take weeks to reach a decision. Chen looked at the tactical display, then at the faces of her command staff. Each of them knew what the hegemony wasn't expecting. That humanity's apparent lack of advanced defensive technology wasn't entirely accurate. Send the Fibonacci protocol signal, she ordered. Across Earth, hidden facilities hummed to life. The peace humanity had maintained wasn't born of weakness, but of foresight. They had hoped these contingencies would never be needed, but they had prepared nonetheless. The hegemony's first indication that they had miscalculated came when their advanced sensors detected unusual energy signatures from Earth's moon. Before they could analyze the readings, 300 seemingly dormant satellites in Earth orbits simultaneously activated quantum shields that the Federation had deemed centuries beyond human capability. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. She broadcast to the hegemony fleet. You have entered protected space without authorization. You will withdraw immediately. The hegemony commander's response was predictably condescending. A protected species cannot make such demands. Your peaceful nature is documented. Accept our generous offer, and we will ensure your transition to proper resource management is painless. Chen's reply was to activate Earth's real defensive grid. Quantum tunnels opened throughout the solar system, revealing a network of automated defense platforms that had been invisible to standard scans. The platforms had been designed and built in secret, their technology reverse-engineered from studying the fragments of alien vessels that had crashed on Earth over the centuries. Our peaceful nature, Chen responded, is a choice, one you are forcing us to reconsider. The hegemony commander laughed, or made whatever passed for laughter in their species. These displays are impressive, but we know your kind fears conflict. You will not risk. Their transmission cut off as Earth demonstrated exactly what humanity was willing to risk. The defense platforms activated simultaneously, their quantum-tipped missiles passing effortlessly through the hegemony's supposedly impenetrable shields. The entire first wave of their fleet found their quantum drives disabled before they could process what was happening. Impossible. The hegemony commander broadcast. Your species cannot possess this technology. The Federation's assessment was incomplete. Chen finished for them. Humanity doesn't fear war, Commander. We fear the necessity of it. There's a difference, one you're about to understand very well. As the disabled hegemony ships hung helpless in space, more quantum tunnels opened. Earth's primitive orbital defenses revealed themselves to be merely the visible portion of a far more sophisticated military infrastructure. Vessels emerged from hidden bases throughout the solar system, their designs unlike anything in the Federation database. The hegemony fleet faced a choice: withdraw or be the first to learn exactly why humanity had worked so hard to maintain peace. It wasn't because they couldn't fight. It was because they knew exactly how good at it they could be. Ripples through space. The Federation Council chamber had never been so chaotic. Representatives from hundreds of species argued simultaneously as holographic displays showed the aftermath of humanity's confrontation with the hegemony. The supposedly primitive Earth defense systems had neutralized an entire extraction fleet without destroying a single vessel, a display of precision and technological sophistication that should have been impossible for a Category 3 species. Senior Assessor Vector's bioluminescence had dimmed considerably as they addressed the emergency session. We may have made some incorrect assumptions in our assessment of human civilization. Admiral Chen stood calmly at the center of the storm, her dress uniform as immaculate as ever. The Federation's protected species classification had been suspended pending review, and now every faction wanted answers. You concealed military capabilities far beyond your supposed technological level, accused the Drachnid representative, their scales flickering with agitation. This is a violation of assessment protocols. Not at all, Chen replied evenly. We simply chose not to correct your assumptions. Your assessment teams were so convinced that our peaceful nature meant technological inadequacy. They never bothered to look deeper. The chamber erupted again as holographic displays showed new footage, quantum tunnels opening throughout Earth's solar system, revealing massive shipyards and research facilities that had been hidden in dimensional pocket space. Technology that the Federation had deemed impossible for humans to possess. Humanity learned long ago that peace through strength is more reliable than peace through weakness. Chen continued. Every time we found a crashed alien vessel, every piece of advanced technology that fell to Earth, we studied it. We reversed engineered it. We improved it. But we kept it hidden, because we saw how the galaxy treated species that flaunted their military power. The Council watched in stunned silence as more data streamed in. Human quantum shielding wasn't primitive, it was revolutionary, capable of adapting to any weapon frequency in real time. Their ships didn't lack advanced AI because they couldn't build it, but because they had developed something better. Hybrid systems that combined artificial and human intelligence in ways the Federation had never considered. But your history, Vectora protested, their tentacles writhing in confusion. The peace treaties, the conflict resolution protocols, are genuine, Chen finished. We maintain peace because we understand the cost of war, not because we fear it. We choose cooperation when possible, but we never stop preparing for the alternative. The hegemony representative, their crystalline form showing stress fractures, raised an urgent point. The defensive technologies they demonstrated, they shouldn't have been able to penetrate our shields. The principles are completely different from anything in Federation records. Because we didn't just copy your technology, Chen explained. We took different approaches, explored paths your scientists had dismissed. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our diversity of thought, our ability to see problems from new angles. A new hologram appeared, showing Earth's global defense network. What the Federation had dismissed as primitive satellites were actually nodes in a vast quantum web, capable of detecting and countering any known form of faster-than-light travel. The system hadn't been activated until the hegemony's arrival because humanity had hoped it would never be necessary. We're not asking to change the fundamental principles of the Federation, Chen assured the Council. We believe in peace, in cooperation, in the power of diplomacy. But we will not be patronized, exploited, or underestimated. Not again. As if to emphasize her point, another quantum tunnel opened near Earth, revealing humanity's flagship, the UES Odyssey. It was unlike any vessel in known space, combining technologies from a dozen different alien civilizations with uniquely human innovations. Its very existence challenged everything the Federation thought they knew about technological development. We propose a new classification, Chen said into the stunned silence. Not as a protected species, but as full members of the Federation, equal partners in maintaining galactic peace, through wisdom and strength. The Council chamber buzzed with urgent discussions. The Federation's understanding of human nature had been completely upended, and with it, their entire system of species classification. They had mistaken humanity's restraint for weakness, their diplomatic prowess for fear, and their technological discretion for primitiveness. As the Council debated, Chen received a private message from Commander Rodriguez. More hegemony vessels had been detected approaching other protected species worlds. The Federation's system of classification had made too many civilizations tempting targets. Perhaps, Chen suggested to the Council, it's time to discuss not just humanity's classification, but the entire concept of protected species. After all, true peace isn't maintained by protection from above, but by strength from within. A new understanding. 6 months after the hegemony incident, the Galactic Federation had undergone the most significant reorganization in its 100,000-year history. Admiral Chen stood once again in the council chamber, but this time as Earth's permanent representative to the newly formed Federation Defense Council. The chamber itself had been redesigned, no longer an amphitheater of judgment, but a circular forum of equals. The holographic displays showed not just the traditional Federation worlds, but also the former protected species who had revealed their own hidden strengths once humanity showed it was possible. The galaxy believed that peace meant the absence of strength. Chen addressed the assembled representatives. We taught them that true peace comes from having strength and choosing when not to use it. The changes had been profound. The Artaxians, formerly classified as a Category 2 protected species, had revealed quantum computation capabilities that revolutionized Federation mathematics. The Nelvarans, thought to be simple agrarians, demonstrated biological engineering that could terraform planets in months rather than centuries. We didn't just protect these civilizations. The former senior assessor Vectora admitted, their bioluminescence now showing patterns of wisdom rather than academic detachment. We infantilized them. We denied them the opportunity to grow, to prove themselves, to contribute their unique perspectives to galactic civilization. The hegemony's attempted resource grab had exposed a fundamental flaw in Federation ideology. By dividing species into protectors and protected, they had created an artificial hierarchy that encouraged exploitation and stifled innovation. Humanity's revelation had shattered that hierarchy, replacing it with something more dynamic and equal. Commander Rodriguez, now Earth's military attaché to the Federation, brought up the latest data. The combined technological and cultural exchange between formerly protected species and traditional Federation members had accelerated development across all fields. Problems that had stumped Federation scientists for millennia were being solved by combining different species approaches. The strength of galactic civilization, Chen observed, isn't in protecting the supposedly weak or maintaining artificial peace through segregation. It's in recognizing that different paths to advancement all have value, that apparent primitive traits might mask profound innovations. The new Federation Charter reflected this understanding. The protected species classification was abolished, replaced by a system of mutual defense and open exchange. Every civilization, regardless of their apparent technological level, was recognized as having potential contributions to make. The hegemony itself had undergone a transformation. Their resource extraction focus hadn't disappeared, but it had evolved. They now specialized in developing sustainable mining techniques that they traded freely with other civilizations, finding that open commerce was more profitable than exploitation. But the greatest change, Chen continued, isn't in our technology or our politics. It's in our understanding of strength itself. The chamber's displays showed scenes from across the galaxy, former protected species teaching their unique technologies to Federation worlds, joint scientific ventures producing innovations that would have been impossible in isolation, and new forms of quantum shielding that combined humanity's adaptable approach with traditional Federation stability. We maintained peace not because we feared war, Chen explained, but because we understood its cost. We developed technology not to dominate, but to ensure we could choose our path. And now, the galaxy understands that true strength lies not in the capability for destruction, but in the wisdom to advance without it. The Federation's biggest fear, that revealing the hidden strengths of protected species would lead to chaos and conflict, had proved unfounded. Instead, it had led to a renaissance of cooperation and innovation. Species that had hidden their capabilities out of fear of being seen as threats now shared them openly, contributing to the galaxy's advancement. The lesson humanity taught us, Vectora concluded, is that peace isn't a sign of weakness, and strength isn't measured in weapons. True civilization is built on the ability to be strong enough to choose peace, advanced enough to choose cooperation, and wise enough to help others make the same choice. As the council session ended, Admiral Chen received a notification. Another previously unknown species had been detected at the galaxy's edge. The old Federation would have immediately classified them based on apparent technological level. The new Federation's approach was different. They would be met as equals, potential partners in the ongoing experiment of galactic civilization. "Ready to meet our new neighbors?" Rodriguez asked with a smile. Chen nodded, remembering how differently first contact had gone for humanity. "Let's show them a galaxy that's learned to recognize strength in all its forms," she replied. "And maybe learn something new ourselves." The quantum tunnels opened, and humanity's diplomatic vessel, a seamless blend of a dozen species technologies, set course for the unknown. They carried with them not demands or classifications, but an invitation to join a galactic community that had finally learned to value both peace and strength, wisdom and power, protection and independence. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had helped show the way. Not through dominance or submission, but through the simple truth they had known all along, that lasting peace comes not from the absence of strength, but from the wisdom to know how to use it. The end.